What's good, everyone, and welcome into a brand new edition of the World Class Hoops podcast here for Wednesday, August the 4th, 2021. I'm your host, Chris Rouse, coming to you from my hometown of Chicago, Illinois. And once again, I brought back from earlier this week a very devout Chicago Bulls fan. That's what it says on the screen, right? Chicago Bulls fan. He got the hat.
Yeah.
You know, he's my co-host on Students of the Game Chicago. He's also the host of the Joe with Joe Morning Show. And you can catch him on social media at JoeStuff710. He is Joseph Gregory. I still didn't get the smoke machine. I still didn't get the smoke machine.
You had 2 extra days to get the smoke machine. You didn't give me the smoke machine yet.
Hey, man.
But I'm happy to be here, though. I'm very, very, very happy to be here after everything that's occurred since the last time we spoke to each other.
Yeah, definitely. A lot has definitely occurred, especially on the NBA free agency front, and we're going to get into that in just a little bit. We're going to talk about, of course, the Chicago Bulls. You're a Bulls fan. I'm a Bulls fan. I'm from Chicago. But
why you ain't wearing nothing Bulls today?
Hey, because I'm just a host today.
You wore that Scottie Pippen stuff the other day. Now you just want to go plain black after everything that's happened.
Hey, I had on blue yesterday. What are you talking about? So
I'm trying to talk to you seriously, and you up here laughing. That's another thing. I'm like Chief Keef. I don't like.
Oh, you don't like?
Don't like.
I'm glad you mentioned that because we are gonna get into a not suitable for work argument later. We're gonna talk about the Locks Dipset versus battle later at the end, very end of the show. So if you're not into that, you can check out after we talk Olympics, and then also we're gonna talk Olympics. We're gonna talk women. We're gonna talk men. And like we said, we're going to get into the Chicago Bulls. John Collins re-signed with Atlanta also. And also Kemba Walker, where he's going to be going next. But first.
Wait, before we start anything off now.
Go ahead. What you got?
This will be – now, I had to work last night. So this will be the most ever in one show. I don't know how many shows we done did together, like 2,000?
Yeah, we up there. It's like in that 200, 300 area.
I said 2,000, give or take a little bit. Anyway, this will be the most that I ever leaned on my wife for a topic because I had to work. So she had some very personal opinions. I did read some Facebook opinions. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't read a lot of stuff, though. I can't wait to see it for myself. But yeah, I will be leaning on my wife for a lot of
Is that for the versus battle? Okay.
Yes, for the versus battle. I'm gonna be leaning a lot on her.
Okay.
And a lot of what she said.
Okay, that's cool. Hey, whatever you gotta say to get whatever help you get through it, man. Whatever help you get through it. But hey, man. But first, before we continue on, we got a message from our good brother Justin Adams in the Art of the Science.
Okay.
We gotta tell him. No, I don't care what the doctor said. We gotta tell him now.
Art of the Science, AOTS, the realest boxing podcast in these internet streets.
This is our block. Now you gonna get down or you gonna lay down?
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And videos are on the YouTube and Facebook page. Audio, you're gonna hear that on Google and Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud.
No.
Rough on him now.
No, he needs to know.
Okay.
He's always crying.
Tough luck.
Come kick it with the realest every Friday. Follow me at JA_the realest. At Art of Sci Boxing. That's ARTOFSCI Boxing. That's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Now, you either get down or you lay down. What's it gonna be, sunshine?
All right, back here to the World Class Hoops podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Chris Rouse, joined by my good friend Joseph Gregory from the Joe with Joe Morning Show, and also my co-host on Students of the Game. We're going to get into the 2021 NBA free agency. I mean, of course, we're going to talk Chicago Bulls. That's pretty much the focus of this show. But first, the Atlanta Hawks, they were probably the most quiet team in free agency, I thought, up until yesterday. And then today, they were able to re-sign John Collins, the power forward, to a 5-year deal, $125 million. What's your thoughts on Atlanta? Able to keep that roster intact to run it back for next year?
Yeah, no, running it back, keeping it intact. You know, that's like one of the main storylines for like the a lot of the playoff teams last year. Deep playoff run, you want to run it back and keep it intact. You know?
Sound like a Cameron bar.
Oh boy, I didn't see nothing yet, man. I'm telling you, you gotta ask. I'm going to my wife. I'm using my wife's brain when we get to that at the end of the show. But yeah, John Collins was major for them last year. 17.5 points on 7.5 rebounds. Also was a real good deterrent off-ball defender, being able to block some shots at the rim. Also, you saw him get better with his three-point shooting. He got a lot better from the perimeter. I don't have the actual percentages in front of me, but he did. He was a reliable, especially from the corner three-point shooter, especially late in the season in the playoffs. So, yeah, man, I think he's entering his prime. You want to keep that core intact. As far as with Trae Young, you saw him get the big extension on Monday, hours after free agency started. So, yeah, trying to keep that thing intact in Atlanta.
And then also with John Collins, he was a guy who earlier in this year I thought had a lot of issues with the off the court. I remember he got suspended for like 25 games for a substance. But now he's really gotten it back on track, especially earlier this year. And they had a game against Brooklyn where I really thought that was sort of like his coming out party. It was one of those games where Brooklyn and Atlanta, it was pretty much whoever had the ball last was winning it type game. And if I remember correctly, I think Atlanta won that game. And John Collins really made his presence felt on the offensive end. He plays for Atlanta. I just mentioned Brooklyn, but elsewhere in New York, Kemba Walker, he's agreed to a buyout with the Oklahoma City Thunder. He plans to sign with the New York Knicks. What's your thoughts on that with the New York Knicks, man? That backcourt, I mean.
Yeah, I'm thinking log jam. Somebody's on the move.
Okay.
Especially when you keep also, not to bounce off the New York Knicks thing. Well, let me just say this: Kemba Walker, Derrick Rose, and I'm missing. Is Alfred Payton? Is he a free agent? Is he just going to be let go? I believe.
Yeah, he's still a free agent. Ntilikina he was not offered. He was not offered, so he's a free agent also.
I mean, so Kemba Walker, Derrick Rose backcourt. I'm still not trusting it. I think somebody's going to get moved. Now it makes you feel like about the rumor that you've been hearing about this. Does Dame really want to stay in Portland thing and this Nick thing or whatever? You get a lot of point. No, you get a lot of point guards now that are starting caliber point guards. So I'm trying to think, are the Knicks trying to build up a package to say, hey, Portland, hey, here you go, Kemba Walker or Derrick Rose, and this, that, and the third, and this, that, and the third, and the draft pick. Just want to know where Dame's mindset is, especially after what Portland did yesterday, getting Tony Snell, getting Cody Zeller, and re-signing Norman Powell. Does he feel content that's going to be enough for him to contend in the West, or does he think it's time? So you're thinking that New York maybe getting Kemba Walker possibly as sort of trade bait for Damian Lillard, probably setting up a trade package that probably could include a couple of those guards in the backcourt. I mean, yeah, and it just doesn't have to be Damian Lillard. Just have to see what the climate is around the league as we go through this first couple of days of free agency. But Kemba Walker and Derrick Rose, I mean, you got to be thinking, as they both sign those deals or whatever, you got to be thinking, okay, I'm gonna probably be the starter. I figure Derrick Rose got to think like that after last year. You got to think I'm coming in as the starter, especially as he showed what he meant to them in the playoffs, replacing Alfred Payton in that lineup in that short series against Atlanta.
All right, well, you know why I brought you here. You see on the screen, I'm your host, Chris Rouse.
I know why you brought me here because
he's a Chicago Bulls fan. He's a Chicago Bulls
because I'm LL Cool J. Ladies love Cool Joseph. That's why you brought me here. That's why you brought me here.
He's a Chicago Bulls fan. He's also the host of those two shows there, Joe Morning Show, co-host with me on Students of the Game Chicago. You can find him on social media there. But I brought you in.
Hold on. I was just cracking a funny, baby. She didn't like the ladies love Cool Joseph thing. She was finna get territorial about her husband over here, so I just had to let her know it was just a little comedy, baby,
Hey, man, get it out.
I know you just raise your hands.
Hey, that ain't got nothing to do with me, bro. I'm just the host.
It has everything to do with you. I'm just the
host of the World Class Hoops podcast, bro.
Because I wouldn't have said that if you didn't have me here. If you would all in my inbox and DMing me to have me here.
If I didn't respect your basketball acumen, so to speak.
Oh yeah, well, that's what I'm here for. What can I say?
All right, well, you know why I really brought you here, and that's to discuss the Chicago Bulls NBA free agency. The Chicago Bulls so far in free agency, one of the more active teams. I mean, yesterday, the sign and trade edition of DeMar DeRozan. Also, a couple days ago, adding Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso, and still possibly what could happen with Lauri Markkanen. Now, Joe, you as a fan, I believe it was you that said trust in AK and Eversley, right? So what are your thoughts so far on this Bulls free agency?
I mean, everybody in the city loves the Lonzo Ball move, right? I mean, gives us
give or take. Give or take.
I mean, it gives you a real quarterback, a pass first point guard that's really coming into his own. Also, as far as scoring the ball, averaged a little less than 15 points a game last year, career high for him. Also, we talked about his shooting early on in his career. His 3-point shooting now is vastly improved. Also, and we already know about what he brings defensively, being 6'7" on that perimeter. So now when you get him, you add Alex Caruso is going to probably be a consummate bench piece. He's going to hustle. He's going to play hard. You know what I'm saying? He's going to endear himself to the blue-collar fans of Chicago and everything. And now you go out and add DeMar DeRozan. And I saw what Justin said about how all three of those people, Ball, Levine, DeRozan, Vucevic, coexist on the court. And also, I read an ESPN article where they ripped the Bulls apart. Gave them an actual D- for this trade.
Okay. All right. So
let me repeat that. They gave them a D-
you.
for this trade. And I was looking like, wow. Like I told Justin when he first said something about it, I think it's about IQ. DeMar DeRozan averaged a career high 6.9 assists last year as a point forward. We know he won't have the ball as much this year with Lonzo Ball on the court. Hopefully he'll be doing most of the ball handling. But I just feel like when I talked about IQ, DeMar DeRozan is in his 30s. Vucevic is a veteran. Levine, this isn't his first walk around the park and everything. So I just feel like players being able to play off of each other and knowing the situations and knowing that I'm not going to be able to score the ball every possession, but it's going to be good for us to have that balance and that cohesion. I think that's really what it's about.
Now, remember, the Bulls acquired DeMar DeRozan in a signing trade with the San Antonio Spurs. In the deal was Thaddeus Young, Al-Farouq Aminu, and also more draft capital as well headed to San Antonio. So in that trade package, what do you think that the Bulls, one, gained, obviously, with the acquisition of DeMar DeRozan, and also lost now with sending Thaddeus Young and Al-Farouq Aminu to San Antonio?
I'll talk about what they lost first with Thaddeus Young. Thaddeus Young, he's a consummate professional. He's the veteran guy. He's the guy in the locker room. He's a glue to the team. And, as you saw last year, the year before last, Thaddeus Young, he could play in basically any role that you want him in. It could be the point forward role. If you want him to start, he can do that. Being either power forward or a small forward. Very good defensively, still very active. And we saw him on the offensive end. Like we called him. He was a real setup guy as far as being able to control the tempo and find the right passes for key guys. So I think he'll be a big help in San Antonio to that young core they had with Keldon Johnson and DeJounte Murray and Jacob Hurtle and Derek White. He's going to be big for them. Al-Farouq Aminu, that's an expiring contract. He'll probably be moving on to a bigger contender probably right around the deadline or whatever, even if he makes it through the summertime with the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for the Bulls,
now, hold on. Yeah, I want you to now hold your Spurs thoughts because we'll get back to that. But now, like I was going to say, moving on, you're going to say, now with the Bulls, go ahead.
Now, with the Bulls, we know what DeMar DeRozan has been for his career. He's a mid-range. He's probably one of the top 2 or 3 mid-range scorers in the league. You know what I'm saying? 15 to 20 feet. That's him. 3-pointers occasionally, but hey, if you got Zach LaVine, and we're going to see how the rest of free agency shakes out, that should be all right. Defensively, now we have to see which one of these guys really takes the role as the 3. And that's really the part that's, what we're going to see. But that's the other thing about positionless basketball. We talk about the height, talking about 6'7" Ball, and 6'6" Levine, and 6'6" DeRozan. So I think they're going to have some pretty good switches out on that front. But like I also said, go ahead. I thought you had something to say.
No, go ahead.
But like I also saying in the chat yesterday to Justin when I responded to him, think about the lineup. Like right now, you're talking about Vucevic, you're talking about Ball, you're talking about Levine, you're talking about DeRozan. So I think Patrick Williams being able to play up all these veterans for one, and then for two, already having what he started 60-something games last year, not really gonna be scared and not gonna feel like he's gonna be in awe of anybody when he step on the court with these people. So I think he looms very, very large. Hopefully, in the plans now for the Bulls.
All right. Also, in that front court, sort of the elephant in the room right now, other than Zach LaVine's contract coming up next season, is Lauri Markkanen. Right now, he's a $9 million restricted free agent. Could be going elsewhere next season if somebody offers him a higher contract. Now with the addition of DeRozan, highly unlikely the Bulls match it. Is he staying in Chicago? Here's his contribution to the team last season right there on the screen.
Yeah, you see it on the screen. He was almost 50. He was almost a 50, 40, 90 guy. He flooded, 48% from field goals and everything, 13.5 points. Didn't know if he was going to be a starter or a bench guy. I thought he would play a lot better once they got Vucevic. Really didn't. Bless you. Really didn't do that too much. Didn't do what I expected, I think, once Vucevic came into the fold. So now he gets to a point where, and also the market on him, trying to see what people were going to be saying around the league about since free agency started. You say it's a $9 million tag on him right now for $9 million.
Yeah, that's the option. That's the extended offer.
So, and you would feel like somebody in this league got to love Lauri Markkanen and they offer him what, 50 for the 3 or something, you know what I'm saying? Around a 15, 17 million per year type deal or whatever. But that just hasn't happened to this point.
Now, the reason why I wanted you to hold off on your Spurs thoughts is because I wanted to get some of your free agency observations. Now, one observation I've noticed, San Antonio, they've been very active on the shooters market. They were able to re-sign Brent Forbes. They made the trade with the Bulls, but I was surprised that Lauri Markkanen wasn't a part of that deal. So, what are your thoughts moving forward? First off, what are some things you've noticed? And also, what are your thoughts on maybe some teams that could be looking at Lauri Markkanen?
One thing I've noticed about the free agency market is just like Lou Williams. You know what Lou Williams like down when he go to Magic City. What do Lou Williams like when he go to Magic City?
Lemon pepper.
What the lemon pepper be on?
Wings.
Wings. That's what I noticed so far about the free agency market. Wings. And it's like about the same price tag for wings. If you're a starting wing, it's about 18 million. We've seen Gary Trent stay with the Raptors, 54 for 3.
Yeah.
Seen Powell stay with the Blazers, 90 million for the 5. Saw Tim Hardaway Jr. re-sign with Dallas, 74 million for the 4. And then you see a guy like Evan Fournier who's moving along to the Knicks. I'm talking about these Knicks, man. These Knicks is very sneaky. Yeah. So these Knicks is sneaky. So, and he gets what, 98 for, you get 90 for the 4, I believe, somewhere up in that area, whatever. And then you got a guy like you're talking about San Antonio, Doug McDermott, people didn't really think that he fits into their plans as far as the youth that they have now, especially now getting closer to 30 now, getting 42 million for 3 years. Like I always say about those kind of guys, if they're not making shots, what type of contribution are they really making to your team?
Also added Zach Collins too, which is also probably why they didn't want Lauri Markkanen, didn't go after Lauri Markkanen as heavy.
And I don't know if that was smart because, and the reason I don't think that was smart because, not saying Zach Collins isn't a good player, he's just got that injury prone tag now. Yes, and they gave him a nice piece of change there. So they got to hope that he stays healthy. He's missed what? I think he missed just about all the last season. Then I believe he missed 62 games in the COVID shortened season the year before. So Zach Collins is good, but it's the availability. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So are they paying for him to sit in street clothes and just watch a lot of games, or is he going to be able to be a vital contributor to that team?
I think that's a great point. I mean, San Antonio. But once again, San Antonio, they were the most active team on the shooters market, as was Philadelphia. Philadelphia able to keep Korkmaz and get George Niang from Utah as well. So
I mean, shout out to that. And they lose Dwight Howard and come back with a Drummond.
Basically traded Dwight for Drummond. And while we're here, let's get your thoughts on the Lakers, man. Pretty much the running back game.
Man.
The Lakers.
Shout out to all the Laker fans. All the Laker fans are just, man, they got the whole banana boat. They get Kendrick Nunn late last night from Miami.
Shout out Simeon. Shout out THT.
Why you shouting out Simeon for?
Chicago, man.
Shout out CVS. You never shout out CVS.
Shout out Juwan Howard.
I guess because they ain't got a play in the league right now.
Shout out Juwan Howard. There you go.
Lamarier. Lamarier. You, man. The Lakers are doing it. Like I say, Kendrick Nunn. And you go with another young guard that they picked up, Malik Monk also. And then you look at the vets on Bazemore, Wayne Ellington, the aforementioned Dwight Howard, bringing back Trevor Ariza. Like I say, all the role players, once they got Russell Westbrook, I think the role players said, you know what, this might be a chance for me to go make a mark here. So they're getting all that mid-level exception money. They're getting it out. And then also, I didn't mention, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah,
Carmelo Anthony finally playing with LeBron James. I I saw him at the Verzuz last night. Like he was in a very good mood. You know, I did see that before I was able to leave. Saw him at the Verzuz. So yeah, man, the Lakers are really coming with it. They're coming at Milwaukee, and they coming at Brooklyn.
Also in the East, you mentioned Brooklyn. They signed Patty Mills from the San Antonio Spurs, and the Orlando Magic. They were able to add Mo Wagner. So they were able to keep Mo Wagner along with his brother, who they just drafted. So they just drafted Franz in the NBA draft last Thursday. Now they add Mo Wagner and keep him on that roster in Orlando. Moving forward here on the show, we go to the Olympics. Last night this morning, I keep doing this every day I do this show. The USA Women's Olympic team extended their win streak, 53 straight Olympic wins for the USA Olympic team. So let me get your thoughts, man. What are some of your thoughts on the USA Women's Olympic team as they were able to beat Australia 79-55? I thought this was pretty much a statement win. How you feeling about USA, the women's team?
Oh man, you know, sometimes you got to get a little sour taste in your mouth for some motivation. So I think they did that with those exhibition losses. I think it helped put them on notice that they just can't show up against other teams in the world and feel like they was going to be just intimidated by them. They was actually going to have to go out there and put it on and play some good ball. And I'm happy that they're doing that now. So on to the medal round. Asia Wilson, man. I feel like Asia Wilson. She's been just very consistent. The anchor inside and Breanna Stewart, man, it's a hell of a 1-2 combination for the women right now.
Yeah, last night actually was probably Asia Wilson's most quiet game of the tournament. Only 10 points, 3 of 6 from the field. But Breanna Stewart, she was the reason why I said I thought this was a statement win. I mean, Breanna Stewart, 23 points, 8 of 10 from the field. There you see on the screen. But it was more than about the scoring. But the scoring is what started it off. She made her first 4 field goals. She had 10 of the first 14 points for Team USA. Sparked a 17-0 run that they had in the first quarter that lasted 6 minutes and 5 seconds. And then right before the half, she had 6 points of a 9-0 run right before the halftime that lasted 2 minutes that put them up 21 to go into the break. But for me, with Breanna Stewart, man, it was 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, including 1 block with the shot clock running down. She decided to send it back. So Team USA, a dominant victory over Australia. In the third quarter, I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. I nodded off after the third quarter, man. They led by as many as 29. They led by as many 29 points, so I nodded off, man. At the end,
it put you to sleep, huh?
I mean,
putting Australia to sleep.
I mean, the last thing that happened was Brittany Griner blocked it. They showed Brittany Griner blocking a shot on replay, and I nodded off after that. And then you see the final score was 79-55, so it's more the same. So Team USA able to advance. Sue Bird, I thought, was very key in this game, especially on defense. Her fast break defense had 1 good deflection. Also was playing the middle of the passing lane, almost like a free safety in football.
Head of the snake.
Exactly. And remember, that was key because Australia beat USA by 3 in the exhibition, and they got a lot of runouts led by Kayla George. Kayla George in this game only 11 points, 7 rebounds. A lot of foul trouble for Australia. 4 players with 3 fouls. Leilani Mitchell had 14 points, but for Team USA, she also had 14 points, 6 assists. But I mean, Team USA just too dominant. I mean, 30% from the field for Australia, 26 from 3. Not a good shooting day for Australia. Great defensive effort from Team USA overall. And now they advance on to the next round. They advance to the semifinals where they will go up against Serbia, who defeated China. And so Team USA, they'll see China tomorrow at they'll see Serbia tomorrow at 11:40 p.m. What's your keys for that game?
Keep doing what you've been doing. Really, Sue Bird, like you said, the head of the snake. Breanna Stewart has been the best player on this team and probably the best player at the Olympic tournament. Man, just keep doing what you're doing. And be just really, I think, and I'm gonna bring the same point to the men when we get to them.
No, go ahead, bring it over. We're gonna go
the talent. The talent. I mean, we got the talent, so I'll be feeling like it's really just about the intangible things and the attention to detail things for both of these teams. Talk about playing defense and cleaning up the glass. Limiting second shots and taking good shots. I think when you take good shots, even if you miss them, limit some of the transitions and some of the run-out opportunities for both of those teams that they're going to be playing against. Ricky Rubio getting 38.
Yeah.
Ricky Rubio in the Olympics is a real deal scorer. Huh? So I'm just, as long as as I see they play Australia tonight, they should have a chip on their shoulder from what Australia did to them in the exhibition season. So, man, you can't let Patty Mills have any open shots. Can't let Joe Ingles be the playmaker. Clean up the glass. And, man, just really play together and play move the ball on offense.
And Team USA, they'll go up against Australia tonight. They're coming off of a win against Spain, a pretty dominant win. They won by 14 points. Mm-hmm. A game where they pretty much Team USA throughout the Olympics has pretty much played, close first halves, and then they blow the team out in the second half type of basketball game. So moving forward for Team USA, you just saw the women come off of a dominating victory. They had what I thought was their first statement win. Now Team USA, they're going up against Australia, a team that, like you mentioned, beat them in the Olympics. What are your keys? What are your keys to tonight's matchup for Team USA as they go up against Australia?
Pay attention to Patty Mills. Pay attention to Patty Mills, and also probably, I think.
Get that right. Get that right. Brooklyn net Patty Mills.
All right. Brooklyn net Patty Mills. You got any more orders for me?
No, I'm just messing with you, man. Hey, it's weird. It's gonna be weird to not see him in a Spurs jersey though, moving forward.
It's even more weirder being me being older than you. You trying to tell me what to do? I guess because we're on your show. But my keys for the night. Pay attention to Patty Mills. I think Matthias Thybulle is probably their best defender. Let's see if the USA uses the screen game a little bit to get the switches and the matches that they want. To try to keep him off their best scores like Tatum, Dame, and Kevin Durant.
My key to the game, I think, is actually going to be Bam Adebayo. In the game against USA versus Spain, I thought Bam Adebayo, he looked a little bit rattled. And I don't know if that's because of the lack of usage or maybe just because he might be worn out going up against these bigs. I mean, he's seen Rudy Gobert. He's going up against Rudy Gobert. He's going up against Ahmed Haddadi. Now he's going to be going up against some bigs, Jock Landale, who just got signed to the Spurs himself yesterday. So Bam Adebayo, I think he may be a little bit worn out, but also he's been struggling a little bit. Had a few plays in the game against Spain where Devin Booker hit him in a high pick and roll and he bobbled the ball. Had one play where he tried to dunk, he tried to lay it up, and Ricky Rubio blocked his dunk attempt or layup attempt. So for Bam Adebayo, I think it's going to be key. I think they're going to have to find a way to get his confidence back up because they're going to need him on the high pick and roll, and then they're also going to need him on the interior going up against Jock Landale. So Bam Adebayo will be key on both ends of the floor for Team USA. Also, remember, Team USA, the winner of this game will go up against France, Slovenia. Let's give a quick preview on France, Slovenia. Rudy Gobert, Evan Fournier for France. It's been Luka Doncic and Zoran Dragic for Slovenia. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts is, hey, what do I call him? What's his name? Luka the Don. Luka the Don.
Slovenia, the highest scoring team in the Olympics, only in the second place is Team USA.
I think this is about France trying to impose some type of defensive will and try to slow this game down. I think the more this game goes up and down, I think it's more transition opportunities for Dragic, the more opportunities for Luka the Don. Not only about the high scoring numbers, it's also about the high assist totals, getting others involved. So yeah, I think in order for France to win this game, they're gonna have to slow this game down and try to pound them inside with Gobert, play inside out, and then fast some threes off of that. They just try to go up and down until shot for shot with Slovenia. They're gonna get ran out the gym.
Slovenia also has they've been getting good usage out of their big men throughout this tournament as well. Guys like Mike Toby and Ziga Dimic. I know I've been messing his name up throughout the entire tournament, but those two have been playing very well for Slovenia throughout the tournament.
So honest,
I'm always honest. Stop being a hater. Stop being a hater, man.
I'm not being a hater.
Stop being a hater, man. Hey, I didn't really get my thoughts on the Bulls, but
well, go ahead. Let's hear them. It's your show.
I mean, I didn't really get my thoughts on the Bulls. What I was gonna say was I was a little pressed that they dropped that report like 10 minutes after I got off air because like yesterday.
Yeah, you was upset.
I was really pressed about that. I wasn't really upset. I was just a little pressed. You know, I was on here talking about DeMar DeRozan for like 10 minutes. So I was like, come on, man.
Shout out to our good friend TJ. What TJ say? TJ said that's when you
go live
overtime.
again.
Hey, man, I wouldn't work overtime.
Man, I wasn't coming back on. I wasn't coming back on here. I did 40 minutes on that. Bro. I wouldn't come back on after that. And now
Think if you would have did 50.
Hey, man, it happens. Hey, that's the game, bro. That's the media game.
Yeah, it is.
That's the media game, man.
You know what we signed up for.
We know exactly what we signed for. Signed up for. But first off, I want to thank you for coming on my show. Once again, coming on the World Class Hoops podcast, man. Remember, we can catch you on social media at JoeStuff710. Also, there you go, the host of these other shows. There you go, Chicago Bulls fan as well.
Oh, yeah.
But also the host of these other shows. But what's one of your messages? What's a message before you get up out of here? Before we get up out of here and go to our bonus segment on the Verzuz battle.
Before we get out of here, I just want to say I'm not coming back on your show again unless you had a smoke machine. Go to Party City, go to Rouse, go somewhere, go to a thrift store. You
paying for this smoke machine, right?
my tablet breaking up.
Oh yeah, okay. That's what I thought.
My tablet breaking up.
That's what I thought. I'm about to say, hey, you paying for that smoke machine, right?
Man, I might have a couple of dollars.
You got a couple dollars on it. That's your final. Is that your final message for the day? Got a couple dollars on it?
No, my final message is this. This is my final message. My last hoop message. The Kawhi Leonard situation. If Kawhi Leonard does really decide that he wants to leave, what do the Clippers do? Do they just try to roll and just keep going as Paul George being their best player? Can he lead them through a whole season with what they have left on the roster right now? I know Reggie Jackson has not been signed back yet.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And then, and if Kawhi does leave, where does he actually go? We just saw Golden State give Steph Curry $215 million for another 4 years. So is there enough room still in Golden State, or is he eyeing somewhere? Is he eyeing elsewhere? Could this be a CJ McCollum and a couple of more players for Kawhi Leonard type thing? So I want to see what happens with Kawhi Leonard by the time we do another show.
See, that's what bothers. See, that's another thing that bothered me about the DeMar DeRozan thing, because I had the Clippers meeting in the Bulls trade right there, and it just happened all a little too late. So it just all happened a little bit too late, man. That's the media industry, though, man. That's the media.
You know what's gonna happen? 15 minutes after we finish, we'll see a sign and trade for DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard. Then he'll come through.
Hey, and then I got the Carmelo one yesterday, though.
Yeah, he did that. And then Kawhi Leonard would come into the press conference and just be in front of the microphone and not say anything.
What's your idea Kawhi laugh again? What's your Kawhi laugh? Shout out Kawhi Leonard, man. One of the best players in the league, man. I just want to say positive energy to everyone. Remember, World Class Hoops podcast available on all streaming platforms, including Apple, Anchor, Google, and Spotify. No, don't shut up. Tune in. Don't shut up. Tune in to the podcast. Available on Apple, Anchor, Google, and Spotify. Also available on YouTube. On social media. Also available on social media on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at WCHP Media, Facebook at World Class Hoops Podcast, and YouTube at World Class Hoops Podcast.
My daughters never watch me on YouTube.
Oh, she's never seen you on the tube?
They'll watch this lady eat Cajun crab legs or whatever, and watch these kids run around in the store and knock stuff over and run, but they never watch me on YouTube. They don't punish me right before their birthdays.
Oh, that's tough, bro. Like, hey, you got what they watch? Is that what you got over there? Cajun crab cakes?
I don't have anything right now. I have some French toast.
Okay, French toast.
All right. My lovely wife made for me. That's some French toast.
All right, hey, enjoy that. Keep enjoying that because
I am. Hold
on. Let me get us up out of here real quick. Thanks for Dr. Joseph Gregory. I'm Dr. Christopher Rouse. This has been the World Class Hoops podcast. If you want to tune in for what we have to say about the Verzuz battle, stay tuned. But until next time, we wrapping it up right there. We'll see you next time. Positive energy to y'all. Salute. Thank you for coming on the show, Joe. I'll have you on another time, but let's take a quick 5. 1, 2. And right here on the World Class Hoops podcast, we get into the not suitable for work edition, the not suitable for work portion of the World Class Hoops podcast, man. As we get ready to talk about the Verzuz battle, man. I mean, I'm a hip hop guy. You're a hip hop guy. You know, we have our own thoughts on Dipset, man. We have our own thoughts on the locks. What are your thoughts? I know you said your wife Tasha, she had a lot of, she had a lot to say earlier in the show. So what were her thoughts here on the Dipset versus the Locks Verzuz battle?
Some of her thoughts were She thought because of the untimely passing of DMX and that bond that they had with the Locks, she thought the crowd was giving the Locks a little bit more love at the beginning. I guess because of that. And she also said that really Jada Kiss killed everybody really by herself. I saw that really over all the Facebook. Like Jada Kiss is really just the MVP of this. But also, I also saw a lot of comments from other people, and they said the Dipset really didn't feature Joel Santana enough.
They really didn't. I didn't see a lot of Joel's.
Thought he could have probably been maybe their MVP in terms. I heard they didn't play any of the What the Game Has Been Missing album. I was like, wow, for real? So as much time as this Verzuz was to get set up, I think I believe they had about 3 weeks, damn near a month to get this set up.
Yeah.
And after seeing how Jada Kiss strategically took apart Fabulous when they did their solo thing, I thought the Dipset would have been a little bit more ready. I mean, like our good guy Derrick Rose pointed out during the playoffs, proper preparation prevents poor performance. And the Locks were definitely prepared properly as far as getting the crowd involved. And like you say, Verzuz, they started off just playing records and sitting in a chair and having a sip or a smoke across from each other. To now they become full-blown concerts.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about a place like Madison Square Garden. And they say the Locks just had it, man. They had the stage presence, they had the songs, they came out swinging. I still haven't watched it yet, but I heard Brothers done started something off the DMX first album. I heard Reservoir Dogs. I heard they came with some joints.
I thought they was cheating. I thought they was cheating with a lot of that because like I said, man, when we did Joe's show, I don't know how many people saw Joe with Joe on Monday, but when we did Joe's show, I was saying, man, like, dude, a lot of this is gonna be features. A lot of this is gonna be Jadakiss features, and that's exactly what it was. A lot of Jadakiss features, and like your wife Tasha said, salute to her for that. Jadakiss definitely killed everybody by herself. I was just sitting here like, is this a Verzuz or
Chris
a
gave you a
concert?
salute. Chris gave you a salute. I gotta let her know that. Chris gave you a salute.
Like, is this a Verzuz or a Jadakiss concert, bro? Because he really was like shutting it down. Also,
Jadakiss was shutting it down.
He was doing a lot of talking too. He was doing a lot of talking too, though. So I will admit that.
I mean, he was doing the part that I saw a little bit of. It was like on Facebook. He was doing some good talking. He was talking that talk, trying to get people into it. But I feel like the Dipset should have been a little bit more prepared for that. You gotta know Jadakiss a monster. He's probably the one with the lyrics and the hits. You know what I'm saying? In his own catalog. So I thought that should have been a little bit more prepared for that. Should have featured Jewels a little bit more.
Now, see, my thought on the battle overall going into it, well, I was more biased to Dipset anyway. I was already more biased to Dipset just because I was, when I was a kid, I thought Dipset, I was a G Unit head, but Dipset was prevalent. Dipset was prevalent.
Trailer, I'm sorry to stop, but Jeff Trailer also, him and JC Weller, you know what they did?
What they do?
2 weeks ago, or last week, they said, so what the Locks gonna do when Dipset play this? And they showed Dipset Anthem, the video by Jewels.
What did they do?
I wrote down like 4 songs that the Locks could play. They said, nah, that don't carry the same weight. But then the battle ain't about an hour in. I see Jeff Triller, the whole thing didn't change. Like, man, I don't think all about the Locks. No, she was a model for a year and a half. When they do that, it just hit different. So change their tune very quick. So
I will,
Jeff,
but
I'm
I will
gonna talk
say
about
this
this when I see you.
I will say this though, when they dropped Dipset Anthem, they didn't have nothing for that though. That's where I thought the battle started to swing more towards Dipset because it started to be more about you start seeing more Dipset's hits. And that's something that I thought Jim Jones pointed out. He was like, hey man, just cause y'all ain't got no hits, and then Cameron pulled out the watch and he was like, hey, just cause you can't do I'm sorry, he got the chain. He got a chain from the crowd. He was like, hey, and they said it was corny. And he was like, no, just cause you can't do it. So I thought for Dipset, it was more about the hits, man. What's your thoughts on Dipset, man?
I love Dipset and I love the Locks. That's what made this whole thing great going into it. I just, like I always say when we do these Verzuz things, what songs are you going to use?
Exactly.
20 bangers between the locks, between whether they Jadakiss, Sheik, Styles. Yeah, you're gonna find 20 bangers. Easily gonna find 20 bangers between Joel's, Jimmy, and Cam. But what songs are you gonna use? I haven't watched it yet. I think Jim Jones is probably one of the most slept on rappers for about the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, what was the one he had? Wasted Talent that you put me on to like 2
Wasted
years
Talent.
ago? And then he had a Fraud Department, which came out earlier this year.
Yeah,
so
and the Capo album.
Exactly.
Jim Jones,
I'm with you.
Jim Jones has been putting in work for the last 2 or 3 years. For them not to use him even a little bit more. I don't know if they highlighted Cam too much, but yeah.
No, I won't say that because Jim Jones, I thought he was kind of the one that swung it. He was like, just because y'all ain't got, after he said just because y'all ain't got no hits, he dropped Ballin'. So he did, Ballin'. He did that. So I can't really say that, man. I think it was a great night for hip hop, though, man. A lot of New York rap.
Great night for hip hop.
A great night for especially New York rap, man. Because you're talking about Harlem and Yonkers. They did the Welcome to New York City for Cameron. Cameron did Welcome to New York City.
Then they say Jada came back with the New York anthem and watched that right away.
Right, he did once again his guest verse on Fat Joe, New York. So once again, man, it's just about who you rock with, man. But it was a fun night for hip hop, man. One last thought from you, Joe. One last thought from you on the.
No, I want to hear you because I ain't see it, so I want to hear you.
You want to hear me? Won? I told you. Who won? I'm gonna say Dipset because I like Dipset. So, but no, I'm.
You know, only one person on the whole Dipset, Facebook as I was going up and down said that Dipset won.
No, I'm gonna be honest with you.
I was seeing comments like, I love the Dipset over Locks, but they ass getting washed right now. I was seeing stuff that.
And I'm be real, that's exactly how I felt. Because like I said,
I heard Jadakiss threw down Joel Santana's bandana. I also heard him say when they ended, when the Dipset ended, they ended with they Killer Cam, that Jadakiss said, and I quote, that shit garbage.
But time out. He was saying that the whole night. So that go with a grain of salt. Like at one point they was even telling him like, hey man, put that cut down, bro.
He was drinking and talking.
And then you see Matt Ward on the screen, man. He said Jadakiss was a one-man record.
Jadakiss was a one-man record.
And he's absolutely right. Hey, what did you say? Hey, what did you say earlier? Your wife said Jadakiss owned everybody.
My wife said Jadakiss bodied everybody.
And then what did somebody else say? I love Dipset, but the Locks won that. That's exactly how I feel, bro. That's exactly how I feel, bro.
It's like you saying, hey, the Lakers beat the Clippers and LeBron went off. They had LeBron last night. So he was on the Lakers. And if y'all was the Clippers, y'all should have been ready.
That's exactly how I felt too, man. It was like, bro, Jadakiss was owning the whole show, man. Like I will say, the Locks was rocking the crowd. But also, your wife made a great point though. Maybe with some of the DMX love, maybe they got a little bit more from the crowd, possibly. But you mentioned Brothers That Started Something. I gotta say this though, Mace had the best verse on that song. So,
yeah, but he did.
Mace had the best verse on that song, dog. So I don't know if you really want to count that. I don't know if you really want to count that to the Locks, but
DMX, may he rest in peace. He had a great verse on that too.
Yeah,
they just went deep in that catalog. 24 Hours to Live. They went Reservoir Dogs. They went Started Something. Then they probably went some of their old stuff. They went with what you got to know. You got to know the strategy of the verses, man.
Right.
Dipset should have been better. That's why it could have been better. Should have been better.
You say that like Dipset was trash. Dipset was good too. It's just you hear.
I gotta see it. I just gotta see it for myself.
It's just what you was in the mood for. Because after a while, man, the Locks started getting to that point where it was like, all right, man, y'all getting a little too bar-y over here, bro. Like, like let's get back to rocking the show, man. Like it got to a point where it started getting a little bit too deep into the bars, and I was like, all right, man, like let's get to the next Dipset song, bro. Then that's how I was feeling. So. It's all about what you like, man. But the verses was very fun, man. I thought it was entertaining. One last message from you, man, on the versus battle before we get up out of here, man. Get out of here for real this time.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see it for myself sometime today. And we have to petition the hip hop community to get Scarface on the cube.
Okay, I'm with that. Now, remind everybody of the idea on that. You mentioned it on Joe with Joe. It was like Ice Cube versus Scarface, but
Scarface came up with the idea that if he goes against Ice Cube, he will play all his favorite stuff from Ice Cube. Ice Cube plays all his favorite Scarface stuff.
And that'd be great. And then on top of that, they got a lot of songs together too.
They got songs together. They're gonna have NWA songs. They're gonna have Ghetto Boy songs. And you know their own catalogs is just nutty. So yeah, I'm there for that.
Would be another great night for hip hop, man. Definitely be another great night for hip hop. But for Dr. Joseph Gregory, I'm Chris Rouse. This has been another presentation of the World Class Hoops Podcast, Joe. Thank you for coming in, bro. And
no problem. Get that smoke machine.
Until next time, man. We out of here, man. Y'all have a good one, man. We are on our way up out of here, man. It's been another good presentation of the World Class Hoops Podcast. I don't know why the thing won't end, but we out of here.